if you can't find traditional sources to help you out, if you've not really experienced or been exposed to the additive world, these are absolutely perfect examples and opportunities to at least go out and see what's out there. I think when you talk about offshore and marine, that's the big one, downtime. We talk about amusement parks. If a ride is shut down, knowing that that window of, peak season is very limited, that has a cost associated with it. So additive could be a great solution to help keep any of these applications up and running.
Welcome to Agile Talks. I'm Ryan. You're Mark Batty. Your hair looks great.
Dude, you didn't change your shirt. I thought we were going to do a costume change.
Go tarps off? I'll just go shirtless?
I mean, listen, next time, all right? We'll both paint our chests, tarps off.
I got to start doing way more quick.
We're in the heart of baseball.
Yeah, you know what? Give me like 3 months. We'll do a tarps off episode.
All right, deal. Yeah.
I'll just do push-ups every day. We'll do it by like a pool. Actually, you know what? We're going to future us. We'll do this by, do you have a pool? We'll do it by your pool.
Deal. Outside episode.
All right. So outside episode. Audio people won't hate us. All right. Today we're going to talk about unique industries that have turned to additive manufacturing. So we can approach these a couple different ways. I can list off the 4 that we have here, or we can go one by one. I think I'm gonna list off all 4, and then we're gonna tackle why each one of these groups have done it. Let's do it that way. So the 4 we have here are agriculture, marine and offshore, amusement parks and specialty entertainment, and historic restoration and infrastructure. Did I miss any?
No. Those are currently our sweet spots for sure. Okay.
So when I think of, I actually group these into 2 separate ones, right? Even though they kind of all work together, but agriculture and marine offshore, I see those groups doing it, one, because they're dealing with, high mix, low volume parts, but they're also in super, or could be in super remote areas, right? If you're running a massive farm in Iowa, I don't know if any of us have ever drove through Iowa. There's nothing around for miles. Okay, so True. Getting to the closest part dealership is sometimes really difficult. Same thing goes for marine offshore. If you're on a rig, I've never spent any time on a rig. You seem like that could have been a different life for you. You could have been on a rig full time, but you're also in the middle of the ocean or in an extremely remote place. So can you talk a little bit about what are the advantages and why industries like those 2 are turning to additive today?
I think so. The remoteness of the thing certainly adds, a caveat to the solution. But the bigger theme that actually links all 4 of those industries is, it's the death of supply chain assumptions. I think a lot of these industries always thought, their supplier would be around. And when something went wrong, that they could always lean on that supplier for help. And there is a whole host of reasons of why suppliers are no longer around. They were family businesses, and that family decided to sell once, the father decided to retire and no one wanted to take it over. There's been a ton of offshoring in the last 20 or 30 years. So there's a whole list of reasons of why that roster of suppliers don't exist. But I think that's the biggest reason that we see those 4 industries is that they always thought that they would have someone kind of on the bench ready to step up when they needed help. And, some of it is post-COVID. That also forced a lot of businesses out of business. But the realization now is, oh my, like there is no one standing at our door with their arms out willing to take our business. And it's kind of a holy shit moment of what do we do?
So I think then when we look at amusement parks and historic restoration, I actually think these are, not that the other 2 aren't fun, but like these are actually way cooler because this is stuff that literally can't be replaced, right? If you're talking about a machine or a piece of literally anything, we can go cars, we can go buildings, we can do anything. Like these are stuff that literally were either handmade, were made 50, 60, 70 years ago. And this isn't a supply chain issue, right? From a traditional sense of somebody's just not carrying it, or maybe they don't carry as much as you want. It's literally something that needs to be made from scratch by a machinist, or a mold that doesn't exist. So can you kind of give me a little bit more of an insight into what you're seeing and why this is an emerging technology in those industries?
I mean, the biggest thing that we see for those industries is simply nostalgia, right? Some of these rides or automobiles or applications have a certain nostalgia to the owner, to the operator, that they can't let go of. So, there's a massive auto show in the area and this weekend, and just seeing some of those cars, like that is almost a piece of history that you can't get back. And for amusement parks, the same thing. Like if that ride goes away, you're probably not replacing it or able to replace it in the same way that it resides today. So that nostalgia piece is massive. And, not surprisingly, you saw like were the kids of Nintendo and stuff. And now you see like old school Nintendos going for hundreds of dollars more, or baseball cards or whatever it may be. Like we all have kind of that soft place in our heart of we want to connect to our past. And I think in those industries, that's a big one. So how do I get a one of a kind item where no one is willing to step up and help me is a big piece of that. And that's just traditional supply chain. Traditional supply chain is built for volume, period. Right? There are custom pieces out there, custom players out there, but when you talk about kind of the traditional supply chain, it is built for scale and repetition, period.
Yeah. I mean, I think about for me, the amusement park stuff, when we talk about that, I know that there's a lot of roller coasters, a lot of, rides like that, but like you want to have a low key riot. Can you imagine if this is going to be Knoebels? So this is going to be very,
I mean, even one
but
that's
like, can
not
you
so
imagine if
regionally based, like Space Mountain, right? So like Space Mountain, that is a iconic Disney ride, right? Imagine that, and I think it's been around since the '60s. So imagine that ride just goes away.
Well, can you imagine if Knoebels Carousel went down?
Right. Exactly.
You legitimately might have a riot.
And that's the point.
That things are around for 100 years.
Exactly. And, grandparents want to share that or had shared that with their kids. Their kids want to share it with the next generation. So there is something about that. I mean, that's just human nature. You want to kind of have that connection to your history. So I think for Additive, it is a super interesting and value-based play there where you can get one-of-a-kind things actually pretty easily, and it kind of keeps that ride or that car or whatever you're talking about, out there and able to share with the next generation.
I think that is a beautiful sentiment, and it's why everyone should be using Additive for their amusement parks. Right. So, all right. So let's revisit. So agriculture, marine and offshore, they're doing it, one, because it's hard. It's remote, and two, supply chain just doesn't justify carrying the amount of parts that they need. And I think the interesting part of this is, maybe you do have an option. Maybe you have machine shops make stuff that you need. Mm-hmm. But even then they can only do so much time. Maybe they can get to it for a custom piece, or you find someone who's going to custom make it, but they're so backed up because they're maybe one of 5 people who do this in the country, and it's going to take them 18 months. So now, you got to do that math. And then with the amusement parks and specialty entertainment or the historic restoration infrastructure, cars, houses, whatever it be, there just might, I know it's still supply chain according to you, but it's not traditional supply chain. It just doesn't exist anymore. And additive allows you to make custom things fairly easy and quickly, in comparison to, again, hiring someone who's going to do something custom for you and maybe make it the traditional way. But it's going to take 3.5 years, right? And that's just not realistic for some of these groups. So I think the lesson is look to additive. If all else fails, look to additive. Is there anything else you would add?
Yeah, if downtime is creating a problem, if you can't find traditional sources to help you out, if you've not really experienced or been exposed to the additive world, these are absolutely perfect examples and opportunities to at least go out and see what's out there. I think when you talk about offshore and marine, that's the big one, downtime. We talk about amusement parks. If a ride is shut down, knowing that that window of, peak season is very limited, that has a cost associated with it. So additive could be a great solution to help keep any of these applications up and running and provide quick turn solutions.
I would say there's no harm in asking, because the worst case scenario, Mark will say, no, I still can't help you. But at least you tried all resources.
That's totally fair.
All right. Well, Mark, I know you probably want to take the rest of the day off. It's
definitely going golfing.
Number one thing you want to do. So I'm going to let you go. Yeah, you're going to go golf? That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Okay?
Thanks for calling me out.
I'm going to go work harder, but you go golf.
Oh, you're going to sit by the pool. All right, buddy. Later.